In this video, I continue talking about my 9th grade of school. Go watch part 1 if you haven't already. Hopefully things will make a little more sense. Okay, let's carry on. Enjoy the video. Social class was an interesting time. You see, we didn't have a teacher for like a week or two. But that was until Mr. Talon got hired. It would have been perfect if Mr. Talon's classroom was next to Mr. Eagle's, simply because of their bird-like names. I actually mistook Mr. Talon for a really tall new student cause he looked pretty young. This class really tested my mental health and public speaking skills for the first part of the year. A duo group project was announced. You know how you could look at your best friend across the room, and you both just knew you'd be partners? I wasn't able to do that. The loneliness hit differently back then. We also had a debate where everyone had to speak. Everyone. I remember feeling terrified to my core in the moment, but I have no recollection about what I did or said. I got through it and passed with decent marks, so I guess it was worth it. Oh yeah, I also listened to TXT's first mini album for the first time in that class. Good album. Good times. Napping was frequent after spring break. I seriously don't know what happened. Maybe because it got hotter in classrooms, or the content just got boring, or time moved slower than it should have been. I was never caught, which was surprising, but I was glad to catch up on some sleep. But I'm not sure you could call it sleep. It's like, you close your eyes but you're still aware of your surroundings. I guess you could say it's when your body falls asleep. I don't know. There's probably a name for that, but I'm no scientist. Science class was a blast. Pun intended, because we learned about space. And we studied combustion in chemistry. The teacher was Mr. Rice. He was new to the school and I thought he disliked me at first. But he turned out to be one of my favorite teachers of all time. Science was one of the few classes I looked forward to, because I actually social interacted with others. Or maybe I liked the content. Or because my notes were actually neat. One of my favorite memories was when we had a duo lab, and our task was to cotton swab the dirtiest places in school, so we could watch bacteria grow. We weren't allowed to swab anything in his classroom though, or else he would pull up the next day with a hazmat suit. Looking back, I'm not sure if that joke aged well or not. I wanted to dunk a cotton swab into a toilet, but he caught me and my partner in the act of scheming. Taking current events into account, I think it was best he shut that idea down. I remember swabbing a water fountain, a teacher's phone, and probably some gum under a desk. I don't know. We were also close to having Mr. Rice in our class picture, rather than Mr. Silver, who wasn't available when we were called down. It's fun to think about what could have been. Gym class was good or bad depending on who you asked. For me, I'd say it was pretty fun because we actually did something rather than sit in desks all day. But it was kinda tainted by some toxic people. And there were tryhards that ruined the mood when it came to playing games. It seemed the other gym class was more fun, and they actually got along well. But looking on the bright side, a few friends were in the other class we had gym with, so this class was something to look forward to, even though I was still pretty awkward. There was one specific day that I always looked forward to. Day 6. The day we had outdoor gym. You see, in junior high we didn't get recess twice a day like elementary kids did. But with outdoor gym, it was possible. It was just our class outside, meaning it was pretty quiet and the weather was nice. Except for the day we were playing volleyball and I got nailed in the head. It was pretty funny though. The teachers Mr. Peck and Mr. Mochi let us do whatever we wanted that day. You could be active, you could play card games, you could go on the playground, which was usually bombarded by kids in the daytime. You could even go to sleep. There was also this one time where me and my friend Julia got a badminton birdie in the trash can. I promise you it wasn't on purpose. We promised to never mention it ever again. So keep it a secret, guys. No one knows. On the last day of outdoor gym, we just sat and talked. I personally wish we did more, but it felt nice to settle down and relax. It felt like a proper conclusion to one of my favorite classes. This field trip was definitely an experience to say the least. One day we walked into English class, expecting to write another 500 words for our stories. But that specific day we were asked to vote what should we do for our final field trip of the year. We were given a few options, but the only ones I certainly remember were the zoo in our city, or a campsite a few hours away in a small town. We as a collective grade share exactly one brain cell. The campsite won with the most votes, but most people weren't happy with the results. Two friends started a petition and were given around a week to collect 100 signatures from the students, with an actual collective goal in mind this time. It was completed easily, but Mr. Eagle, the main organizer for this trip, already made plans with the camp coordinators, so our trip to the campsite was inevitable. Oh well, it's better than sitting in a desk all day. The bus ride there was pretty fun, and we sang many songs of our childhood, but it was kinda shut down, which wasn't cool. We were given a variety of activities to choose from throughout the day, like canoeing, doing art stuff, dodgeball, basketball and more, but I don't have time to list them all, mainly cause I don't remember them. I chose archery, which was pretty fun and very exhausting. My noodle arms weren't built for this. Rock climbing, which took place in a really small area. It was kind of sad, and I almost broke my fingers. And finally, I made s'mores. Actually it was just one s'more, but who can deny free food? We were only allowed one marshmallow, so we only had one chance to make a perfect s'more. In my opinion that was stupid, especially if you've never made a s'more before. And if you knew almost 90 kids would be visiting, you'd think they'd stock up? I don't know. Anyway, we spent a good time at each activity, but making s'mores was the shortest out of all 3 activities. So after eating we just walked around the campsite, which was also very close to a residential area, and vibed by the lake. Finally we had a group activity where the whole grade was split into for a huge capture the flag game. I don't think it went as planned, but I tried my best to participate, and our team won. With the day concluded, we returned to school on a quiet bus. Perspectives can vary, but this field trip was poorly organized, but it turned out to be a fun day. Overall, I remember taking grade 9 very seriously. It was the last year to make some sort of impact at the school we were attending. It was a countdown to say goodbye to the friends, strangers and teachers we grew up with for the majority of our lives so far. At our graduation ceremony, I was actually expecting to cry. If not, I was expecting to cry on our last day, but neither of those happened. I'm actually still anticipating to cry about it to this day, unless those years at that school weren't as much of a big deal as I thought they were. But I think I definitely improved with myself during that year, and that's what truly matters. I guess grade 9 turned out to be an unexpectedly good year. So if something seems hard at first, stick with it. Maybe you'll learn and grow on your way towards the end. There are many more stories to tell that took place at this school, like the time I was afraid of wind, when I ate a ladybug, or when the whole school clapped in the rain. So I hope you stick around for more. If you like what you see, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.